Now we have covered a lot just for me to teach you the basic of content creation in the alternate history, politics or history gaming niche. As such, now you have a YouTube channel with a few professional uploads, perhaps a few YouTube shorts as well. Now what you need to do to grow your channel further is basically repeat everything I mentioned so far, again, then again and again. Don't worry, this process gets a lot easier every time you do it. Now for the purpose of this chapter, I want to give you some further advice. Not in particular regarding any part of the video making process, but rather focusing on the bigger picture, which is you and your channel. One of the greatest things that you could do in this stage is to identify your bottlenecks and start fixing them. For example, let us say that you're looking at your videos and think that they can improve by better editing. So in this hypothetical scenario, you're going to do everything as usual, however you're going to spend more time editing. With that, now there are two options. Either option A, your hypothesis was correct and your editing was the bottleneck, so now with you fixing it, you have gained a lot more views. The other option is the dreadful option B. The fact is that I have seen several creators, even myself included, get this process wrong. In option B, you spend more time improving certain areas of the video making process, however this wouldn't result in any more views. As such, your hypothesis was wrong. In this example, people were not ignoring your videos because of the lack of good editing. If this is the case, you're going to find out that you would be working way harder for nothing. Remember, just because you're working hard doesn't mean anything. You need to be working hard on the right thing. This is why I want to suggest that you upload a few videos where you can identify your weaknesses later on. Now perhaps you cannot identify your weaknesses because you couldn't be objective with yourself, and this has happened to me several times as well. As such, I asked several times my community directly regarding what I should improve. When I did this for the first time, I was actually very surprised because I thought that my script writing was very good, however my editing and voiceover were the lagging part. According to the audience feedback, they were actually fine with the editing and the voiceover, however would much rather me improve my scripts. As such, if I didn't have these community responses, I would have spent a lot more time working towards something that they simply don't care about, thus wasting my time, working harder and not improving my video performance. Remember, if you're working really hard and not seeing any extra result, you're likely working on the wrong thing. Start working on whatever your audience thinks that you should improve, and then ask them if they see any improvement. If not, you need to continue doing it up until they're fine with that. Then you need to identify your next bottleneck and simply do what your audience wants. It took me probably a year to learn this lesson, which is that the audience is always right. You have thousands of people responding to these community posts, so the aggregate brain power of this is likely more than you can muster yourself. Listen to your community and their feedback. I'm going to cover this in the following chapters. The second piece of advice I want to give you is to not get over-obsessed with the YouTube Studio and the general analytics, which I also suggested in the previous chapter. In the beginning, I was literally glued to my YouTube Studio, because I was thinking that by me looking at these analytics, somehow my content is going to get better. Long story short, I was basically not doing anything meaningful and I was procrastinating, mistakenly thinking that I was working and improving my channel, while in reality I was doing nothing. You should check your YouTube analytics about as often as you check your bank account, which is hopefully not after every purchase, but also never. There is a healthy balance. Right now I'm spending about 5 minutes per day checking up the YouTube analytics, seeing how my channel is doing, how my videos are performing and all that. This is me with 100,000 subscribers and plenty of analytics. For you, as a smaller channel, I'm going to suggest that you spend even less time in your YouTube Studio. But you know what, if it motivates you in the beginning, then maybe you should do it regardless short term. Third piece of advice, don't get depressed when a video that you worked so hard on literally underperforms right after you upload it. When I made this video regarding Hungary going communist in 1919, I actually thought that this was very good, however it underperformed in the beginning. Sure, you can say that 20,000 views is a good amount, however on average at the time I was getting 30 to 40,000. The thing is, a little over 3 months after the video being uploaded, it literally doubled in views within 10 days. Then after several months it again doubled. This video right now is growing quite fast and is among my top performance, despite starting out so poorly. What I want to advise you to do here is to not judge a video's performance based on how it does in the first few days alone, or even in the first few weeks or months. The thing is that for this Hungary video example, I actually didn't change anything about this video. Didn't change the title, didn't change the thumbnail, literally nothing. So it did take a few months for YouTube to pick it up in the algorithm again and get the views that it had deserved. I have countless of examples of videos that had performed really poorly in the beginning, but now are doing very well. So you can check these out in the resources section. As such, don't get upset when a video that you have uploaded does very badly, because in the future it could literally become your best performer. The fourth piece of advice I want to give you is regarding the bigger picture of your channel and why I think that you should be replying to all of the comments, liking and hearting them. Even though rewriting history is no longer a small channel, this is still a hobby that I'm doing daily. As such, if I can find the time to do it, so can you. This is important because by these actions you're making your audience feel more important, thus they are likely to stick out for longer. Most creators don't reply to their comments, so to stand out you can simply do what most creators aren't willing to do. And as such, these viewers are going to become more loyal and more likely to watch your other videos. Another advantage of replying to these comments is that the viewers are likely going to get a notification that you have responded to them. So as such, they're going to open up your YouTube channel and perhaps check one of your latest uploads. Generally speaking, there is no disadvantage of replying to comments as a small channel. You're also going to get to know your audience better, which is a separate chapter I'm going to explore in the future. The fifth piece of advice I want you to adopt is to begin to productively procrastinate if you cannot put any work. Basically, if you feel tired while working on a video, you can simply put it on hold and begin building towards another video that you're more passionate about. This way, you're still working on your channel and are improving. I'm going to mention similar tactics in future chapters when I talk about motivation and dealing with burnouts. But for now, do know that you don't have to work on one video at a time, you can work on several ones simultaneously. Even further, if you feel tired from working on a single video, you can simply abandon the topic. I have abandoned dozens of videos that have had solid progress just because I no longer felt passionate about them. Still, this is not work wasted, because I had done some practice in the script writing on other parts of the video. So, as such, if you abandon a few topics, you're still getting better and improving, even if the viewers don't see the end result. The sixth piece of advice I want you to apply to your YouTube channel, but also your life in general, is to experiment as much as possible. I think that you should be trying out new things, which yes might underperform in the beginning, however they could become your top performance years from now. By experimenting with new ideas, formats, frameworks, and so on, you can discover something new that has never been done in the niche, which is further going to make you more unique and thus could add to your X factor, like I mentioned in the beginning of this video. As such, you're going to have a competitive advantage and stand out even more, because you're going to be the first person and likely the only person in the beginning that is doing this. Also, I have personally found out that when I'm experimenting, I'm actually a lot more motivated to see the end result. As such, these experiments boost my motivation and productivity even if they were to fail. As such, if you feel stuck and demotivated to work on your channel, perhaps you can try out something new. For example, some experiments that I have made are an interactive video, which is a very different way of telling alternate history, and you can find a link to this in the resources tab. Also, despite it being not unique, it was unique to my channel, which was series-based content, and these performed really well. Do remember that if you don't experiment, you wouldn't get the upsides of your experiments. Furthermore, if you don't experiment, somebody else will, and they may very well find something that works, and as such they're going to be the first person to take advantage of this. If you think that their discovery is very cool, you can also try to copy it. However, this wouldn't work out for you, since the audience would know that you didn't discover it. As such, experimenting does have a first mover's advantage. Now, regarding how often you should experiment, I think that for example you can have 5 of your videos to be like your usual uploads. However, the 6th one can be something where you try out something new. Maybe it is longer than usual, maybe it is shorter, maybe it is funnier, maybe it is more serious. In the end, you decide. I think that by experimenting, eventually you're going to find out something that works better than before. Advice number 7 is to double down on what already works. I know that this may sound very stupid, however maybe I'm stupid and this is a note to self. I made this YouTube short regarding the borders of America if they were to collapse, and this performed really well, being my most viewed short at the time. For months upon months I was making other shorts that were underperforming relative to this video. One day I was watching videos regarding YouTube advice, just like you're doing right now, and there they mentioned to double down on what already works. I know that it may sound obvious to do more of what works and less of what doesn't, however to me at the time it wasn't so apparent. I'm certain that sometimes it is more important for us to be reminded rather to be told. As such, this is your reminder to do more of what already works. So, to continue my story, when I heard this advice, I took the format of countries collapsing and I applied it to other major countries. And this is how I got my most viewed YouTube short, which is about Italy, today sitting at over 1 million views. I know that what I have just told you maybe doesn't sound like advice, but rather common sense. However, when you're creating so much things and experimenting, sometimes we forget the basics, so this is your reminder to do this very well. Advice number 8 is to think of your videos like red and blue. Now let me explain. A red video is used to get new people interested in your channel and watch your videos, while a blue video takes these people and converts them to subscribers and loyal viewers. In an extreme example, if you upload only red videos, you're going to have a lot of views, however not a strong community. However, if you only upload blue videos, then you would have a very strong community, however not a lot of views. I cannot tell you a perfect ratio of these, however you should keep it in mind when you're making your videos. In your YouTube analytics, like I had mentioned in the previous chapter, you can see your ratio of new viewers to returning viewers to regular viewers, and for me it is almost perfect. As such, if you see that you have too many new viewers, making more blue videos as to convert them to subscribers and regular viewers would actually be the most beneficial for you. While on the contrary, if you have way too many returning viewers but not too many new viewers, perhaps it is time to go a little bit more broad as to attract more people to your community. Alright, so now you understand it, however how to make blue and red videos and what exactly do they look like? Well, a red video is usually one that is on a broad topic that attracts people that wouldn't usually watch your videos. As such, it has a very high total addressable market and gets people to watch your videos. A blue video on the other hand is quite the opposite, it is based on a very niche topic. As such, you want the viewers to think to themselves, wow, this video was made exactly for me, which results in them to become more loyal and to subscribe to your channel. The facts are that you cannot make millions of people feel like this video was made exactly for them, so this is why you need to alter between red and blue videos. Now yes, the blue videos are basically guaranteed to get you less views, however this would result in a higher subscribers rate, more people to join your Discord, more people to comment and engage in your comment section. And these people, although you cannot see it right now, are the ones that would watch your videos for years upon time. Basically, let us say that you have 1000 fans, regular viewers or people in your Discord server. Since these people are the most committed members in your community, it kind of makes it impossible for your videos to get less than 1000 views in this scenario. The red videos give you views, however the blue videos increase your minimum views threshold. As such, you should be doing both of them, depending on your YouTube analytics what you think you need more. The final piece of advice I want to give you is to have a long-term mindset. 90% of creators quit before they can achieve 1000 subscribers, so don't be part of these 90% that are short-sighted. I have already talked about patience and not getting disappointed when a video in the short term doesn't do very well, because in a year or two from now it can become your best performer. As such, if you're short-sighted, you are unlikely to stick around for this amount of time to continue making more videos. As a rule of thumb, I want to say that in the beginning it is going to be harder than you may expect, however in the future it is going to be more rewarding than you can imagine. Now, did I overwhelm you up until this point? I don't mean just in this chapter, but also in the entire video. At this point you have watched for hours, and still there is more information to cover up until you reach 100,000 subscribers. The thing is that I had to learn everything the hard way, so the advice you're getting right now is basically liquid gold, helping you achieve your desired state much faster, completely for free. Now I know that I can make this process much faster for you, so let me allow you to help you on an individual level. Earlier I said that in this masterclass there would be many surprises and I want only the most committed people watching this to have access to them. For example, I mentioned the giveaway opportunity an hour ago in this video, and now here is yet another opportunity that you can take advantage of. I want to congratulate you because you're clearly very determined to watch so far of this video. Also, you kind of remind me of me, because in my earlier days I used to watch plenty of similar videos, just trying to figure it out and make it work. For most of my life I had been trying and consistently failing all over again, because I was not applying the learned information I was taking from these videos. If you're already very overwhelmed because there is so much that I have told you and the video is nowhere near over, I have a solution for this that is going to help you achieve your desired state sooner, where I'm going to personally coach you and apply all the information I know personally to your channel and to your unique circumstances, your difficulties and your situation. Where you can directly ask me questions, I can help you work on your scripts, can help you rate your thumbnails and give you advice there, or even help you with motivation, keep you going and be accountability check. Generally speaking, everything I had covered in this entire video and beyond. If you want to, you can join my coaching program, although the spaces are quite limited because there is only so much time I have, and generally speaking I cannot handle hundreds of people. Full transparency is that this program would be paid, however it is not expensive. I know that for the small amount of money that it costs, I can actually provide you with a lot of value that is going to shortcut months or years away from you reaching your desired state, saving you countless of hours of you bashing your head against the wall to figure out how YouTube works. Once you get monetized on your channel with my help much sooner, you're going to see that the ad revenue is going to cover the cost for this program. And also you're going to have a profit, so it would be mutually beneficial for both of us. To summarize, you're going to earn more and much sooner if you decide to work together with me, while also I'm very passionate about helping you grow and reach your desired situation, whether it be monetization or 100,000 subscribers. So if you want to learn more about this opportunity, you can check out the description and also the pinned comment. There you can also find an unlisted video, where again I explain everything in detail, what exactly the program offers, how much does it cost and so on, if you need more information before you make this decision. If not, in the remainder of this video there is still so much value to cover that is going to help you reach 100,000 subscribers by avoiding my mistakes. So let me walk you through layer 2 of growing on YouTube, which is going from 1000 subscribers to 10,000 subscribers.